Hello and welcome back to Inside the Tape on Inside the Birds. I'm Jeff Mosher with Adam Kaplan, and we're breaking down Eagles tape. So that means we've got Greg Cosell with us here to break down the Eagles defensive tape against the Broncos in their 21-17 loss. A very strange game, Greg. My impression was the defense played fairly well, obviously up until the fourth quarter, but they were on the field quite a bit as the Eagles, I believe, lost time of possession by a lot in this game.
They did. I think the Broncos had the ball for over 34 minutes and ended up running 70 plays, which is too many.
Yeah.
If you're a defense, it's too many.
Yep.
What did you notice from a tape study? Because every week we talk about Vic Fangio's philosophy. Is he going to blitz? Is he going to go into zone? Is he going to sim? Is he going to extra man pressure? What was his general philosophy against this Broncos offense?
This was a coverage game. He didn't really he certainly didn't rush 5 or more. There were no snaps of 0. Only 6 of Knick's 43 dropbacks did he rush 5. There were obviously some 4-man sim pressure concepts, but this was a coverage game, not a pressure game. Now, he always, when he feels he has to, he always increases his blitz frequency in the fourth quarter, because 4 of the 6 5-man pressures came in the fourth quarter. But for the most part, the game plan was not to rush 5. It was to play coverage.
Greg, we know Ringo was a starter, not a surprise, at least to me. But did we see DeJean at all at corner, or was he just strictly nickel?
DeJean played some corner, but they didn't play it.
Only in base, right?
Still doing the base.
Yeah, only in base. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look, I made the point that 5 Eagles defenders played every snap. It was Bond, DeJean, Mitchell, Blankenship, and Makuba. So for the second game in a row, Makuba played every snap, and Campbell played every snap but 3. The guy that was interesting was Ojulari, who I thought showed up in this game.
Absolutely. We'll take
a ton. Wow,
yeah.
Greg.
34 snaps.
That's a lot. So give us an idea. You mentioned Ojulari. What did he look like to you?
I thought you saw, first of all, he's got ridiculously long arms, and they really show up when you just watch him move. That was one of the selling points when he came out, because he's not tall, relatively speaking, but he has really long arms. I thought he showed some speed to power. I thought he showed some quickness. I kind of liked the way he played. I thought he you knew he was out there. He had a really good pass rush. On 3rd and 8 in the second quarter, when he hit Knick's on his delivery, resulting in an incompletion, with that rip move. You guys, I'm sure, remember that play. I just thought he played well. I thought you noticed that he was out there playing.
Yeah, fun fact for the Eagles, Ojulari's arm length was actually the same for the first 4 weeks of the season too. But for whatever reason, that couldn't get him active and onto the field. But that it's always a mystery to me when a guy doesn't play. And then in his first game, he plays almost 33% of the snap share with Hunt and with Zadarius Smith.
You know what?
Hysterical.
Jeff, he showed up so well. And I know that this is the first time he plays.
He played 46% of the snaps.
That's a lot. So that look, yes, we know their pass rush has not been good enough, but that's a good sign for him. And you would now he's going against his former team this week. He's got to be active every week. There's no reason after what he did here that he won't be active. Has to be active.
We'll see. We're going forward. I would agree with you. Keely Ringo, Greg, how would you evaluate his first start?
Sure. Second start, right? Didn't he start last week?
I'm sorry, second start.
Yes.
Yeah. First as not a guy because the other guy's injured. First as this year as you're just a starter now.
Yeah, again, they didn't necessarily go after him hard. I thought that the one play that kind of shows why he was a 4th-round pick and one of the reasons he's struggling and certainly not seen by the Eagles as a full-time starting corner was that Franklin 20-yard play on the first play of the 3rd possession where you just saw the core stiffness. And he was unable to stop. He had to chop his feet. He had to gather his body. That was one of the main issues coming out of college. That's been an issue, throughout his Eagles tenure. That's one reason he's not a starting corner. He's stiff in his core, and you can work with that to some degree, but you can't make him all of a sudden a smooth, loose athlete. It's like a guy who runs a 4.8 is not going to be a 4.4 guy.
Right.
Yeah.
You can probably get him a little better, but at the end of the day, that's his body type, and that's who he is.
Interesting.
Second half, Greg, fourth quarter, the Bo Nix to Cortland Sutton connection really came on after not really having much in the first half. What changed there? What did you see?
Well, it's funny. There were a couple of times he beat him just one-on-one versus Mitchell, and Mitchell had good coverage. And he just, it was good versus good, and Nix made good throws, and Sutton, who's big and physical, went up and got it, and Mitchell was right there. Obviously the big play was the 3rd and 15, which was not man coverage. They were playing cover 6, which means they were playing quarters to the short side of the field. And that was, a great anticipation throw by Nix hitting Sutton on the curl route. And Mitchell was not in good position on that play. And then Blankenship missed the tackle, and it became 34 yards. But those other plays you're talking about, the man plays, Sutton's a good receiver, and Mitchell's a really good corner. And they won those. Sometimes that happens. You can't really – that's not a case – again, what are we going to say now? Not me, but I'm just talking generally. Oh, well, Mitchell's no good. I mean, it happens.
Really good.
It's the NFL. They were good throws, good catches, and Mitchell was right there. It wasn't like he actually got beat worse on the second play of the game where the ball went right through Sutton's hands.
Yes. Yep.
First, speaking of that, they threw it a lot. They threw it 21 times with Nix, and he had well less than 100 yards. It seemed to me, Greg, you tell us what you thought. I thought it looked like the Eagles' defense was mostly under control here and in control in the first half.
Yeah, the Eagles' defense, played well. They didn't give up much in the run game. In the second half, there were a couple of runs.
Yeah.
The 17-yarder and the 13-yarder by Dobbins were the exact same play in which the Eagles were just moved off the ball. They was really well blocked, and they got moved. One of them, Carter, simply got just driven out, which doesn't happen very often. But and by the way, they didn't slide to Carter just as a normal course of events in this game. I'm sure you guys noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
They did not do that. There were plenty of times they let Miners block Carter one-on-one, and he didn't do a bad job.
Mm-hmm.
Carter beat him a couple of times, not badly, but got near the quarterback, but he didn't kill him by any means. So again, that's a Sean Payton thing or an O-line coach thing, but that's what they chose to do, and it didn't really hurt them.
So does that mean they had more protection on guys like Jomo and Davis because they weren't sliding to Carter?
Yeah. Which is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, again, I'm sure if they were here, the coaches, well, they wouldn't tell us anyway, but if you gave them truth serum, they'd probably have a really good answer, and we'd go, okay, that sounds great. But, that's what the tape showed.
Yeah.
Funny.
I thought, I hate the phrase out coach because everybody just says, well, the winning team
nobody knows what that means.
Right. I know. They just throw it around. But I do think the Broncos coaching staff, both offensively and defensively, had a good plan and executed at times really well.
But the other thing I love, Jeff, is when I read, and there's one particular reporter in Philly who shall remain nameless because that's not the point of saying this, but every time the Eagles lose, he says that the Eagles didn't make the right adjustments. And I'm thinking to myself, you wouldn't know the right adjustment or the wrong adjustment if it hit you in the face. Right. We don't. I sit here and watch tape, and unless the adjustment is blatant, like where it's, oh my God, look, something's really different. Because, I've heard Peyton Manning say he didn't make one adjustment at halftime in his career. Yep. I've heard Phil Simms tell me, and I know Phil very well, tell me that, we didn't make adjustments at halftime. All we really decided was that, hey, we like these plays. Let's keep running them. No,
you're right. Yeah. Like last week, it was obvious for us, right? With Todd Bowles, he blitzed a lot in the first half.
Didn't work.
Stop blitzing in the
but
second.
By the way, what we don't know is if that was part of a game plan to begin with, and it played out exactly the way they thought it would play out. Right. That's what we don't know.
You're 100% right about that. Good stuff.
True.
All right, let's take a look at some of the interesting plays from the Eagles defense.
Hey, you know that one guy in the group chat who hit a 5-leg parlay week 1, and he wouldn't shut up about it for the rest of the season? Sounds like Kaplan, right? Yeah, it could be him. It could be you, and we would all want to be you. MyBookie makes it stupid easy to get in on the action, whether it's college ball, NFL, super contest, and survivor pools, all the spreads, player props, and in-game lines that you could want all under one roof. What more could you want than that? If you're new to MyBookie, use our code, TheBirds, THEBIRDS, the birds. Use the code, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. There is no better time to jump in right now. No better place to play. Football is back. Let's make some money with my bookie.
Sports are all about competition. Every snap, every possession, every clutch moment matters. That same energy is what 1v1 Me brings to video games. Every single day, you can watch and stake on matchups in Madden, NBA 2K, FC, and Call of Duty Search and Destroy. All the games are streamed live. Every match has refs, and payouts are instant. And these aren't just random online lobbies. These are the best players in the scene, pros, streamers, and rivals. With season playoffs and the championship game on the line, every game matters. Over $100 million has already been paid out on the app, and the community is growing fast. If you're a sports fan, a gamer, or just someone who loves having a little extra on the line, 1v1 Me is where you need to be. It's not just about winning, it's about the bragging rights too. Every match has a chat going crazy, and you can back your picks in real time. Download today and use code BIRDS. Your first stake on the app is risk-free. That's code BIRDS for a risk-free first stake.
So it's funny you're starting with this play, Jeff, because this is just what I was talking about with the Ringo. And I think you can really see it clearly. This was a 20-yard completion to Franklin, who's down at the bottom of the screen in a plus split. And look at Franklin just attack him vertically. And Ringo has to turn and start to run because he doesn't want to get beat vertically. Now, again, some might say different coaches have different approaches. So I don't know how they teach it at the Eagles, but some might say he turned to run too soon. Some might say not. That's a coaching thing. So no one's right or wrong on that. But if you can go back a little bit so people can see it in true motion, because you want to see, look how long it takes him to stop. Look how he has to chop his feet and literally gather his body to stop. Keep going. You see, he has to chop and literally gather. And that's just core stiffness. Like I said, you can work on that to some degree, but you can't make him, a smooth, elusive athlete. That's not how he's built.
What we were told, Greg, we asked after the draft, because that was the one big nugget we got, is he had major stiffness in his lower body and he had trouble transitioning. Can you get rid of it? I think between Jeff and I, we talked to over 24 people over 3 years. Not one said you can get rid of it. They said kind of what you said. You could work on it, maybe get a small percentage better, but you can't get rid of it. And the pro personnel people know this around the league, so it's going to be in the report.
Well, that's why he was, look, I do a ton of draft work, okay? And you guys know that. And am I going to get guys wrong like everybody does? Of course. That's just human nature. But, because he was the number one recruited corner coming out of high school in Arizona, and because he played at Georgia, and I believe had the big interception when they beat Alabama in the championship game, people just automatically assume he's a first-round pick. And when I watched his tape, I said to myself that he's not going to be a first-round pick. And I said, I'd be surprised. I said, if he is drafted, it would be day 2 late. He'd be that kind of guy. And then, of course, he gets drafted in the 4th round. And I just got ripped by everybody because it's Georgia, but I mean, again, it's no knock on Ringo. He is what he is, and he's still in the league. And who knows, he may play 10 years in the league, and that would be awesome. And it's those kinds of guys, not that they care what I think, but it's those kinds of guys that actually I have great respect for because they just keep working and working and working, and they end up playing for a long period of time. My guess is he could be one of those guys, but he just doesn't have the traits to be a starting corner.
All right.
So this is the blitz.
This is the Cooper to Gene blitz. I just wanted to show it really quickly, but now
go back 1 sec.
We're going to go back a little bit to the start of the play.
So here's my point. There happens to be motion on this play as well. So if he does not motion, because look at DeJean, as soon as he motions, he clearly communicates. Okay. So we don't know what he's communicating. Now, maybe he would have blitzed anyway because it appears that Mukuba is coming down, and he may have been coming down anyway, and we know that they match him up to wide receivers, so that may have happened anyway. But he blitzes, and he gets picked up by the back, and he beats the back, and he causes what I thought this was a fumble, but what do I know?
Right. The replay showed, like, if you really slow it down, it did look like his hand
If
was
it's moving,
forward.
it's incomplete.
Yeah. But I tell you what, I really
Less
love
of a pass.
this play, going through this play, because literally last week we were talking about how he did this in his debut last year against the Browns. Vic called it up and hadn't since. And then all of a sudden you get it again.
Yeah, no, this was, and he just ate up the back there. That's Harvey, I believe.
Yep. All right, this is a 3rd and 8 sack right here.
This is Ojulari.
This is Ojulari. Yeah.
Wow,
yep.
his
not a sack. I meant a pressure. Yeah.
Look at him dip. That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't know if you have this from the end zone, but you can really see the inside rip move.
Yeah.
That's the left tackle, right, Garrett Bowles, who's pretty good.
Yep.
And I will say there was some pressure around the right side as well. Also, I do believe I have this. There we go.
You'll really see it. First of all, he's able to kind of clear his outside shoulder just enough where he can use that inside arm to rip. Look, right. Keep going. See, cleared him, and boom.
There it is. Wow. There it was. The arm under.
And there was some force with that, too. You could see he really wound up without losing any speed.
Hey, Jeff, on your point earlier, he's had time to save up his energy. He hasn't played. Honestly, like he came out and he brought it. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Adam, as I recall, again, he came out a number of years ago, 3-4 years ago, was it? But I thought his arm length, if I remember correctly, was in the 35-inch range, was it not?
It was 30. I have to look. I know it was over 34, which is left tackle arm length. And remember, he's about 6'2.25".
I know he's not tall. That's the thing.
That's the crazy thing. It's funny. Jeff and I were at training camp a number of times, and Andrew DeCecco is Andrew, Greg, and we all said it. We didn't see it from Ojulari. Like now, because you kind of figure out, okay, this is why he's not playing.
Yeah,
but he's put himself on tape. This looks good.
Yeah. I always wondered. I should have been a left tackle because my dress shirts are arm length 34, 35. So I should have been a left tackle.
So are mine, but I don't think it's But you're 6'. Are you still 6'3"? I know men shrink.
Well, I used to be 6'4", but now I'm about 6'3".
Right. So do you know what in all seriousness, do you know what your arm length was?
No, I don't. Because I never,
Mine's over 32. Not too bad.
I knew what my 40 time was in college, though.
Did you break 5?
I was 4'8".
Really?
Not we got measured my freshman year in baseball.
4'8". Wow, I'm shocked.
Hey, if your arm length is the same as Ojulari's, if you shrink 2 more inches in the next 10 years, which probably is going to happen to you, then you'll just look like Ojulari.
Exactly, I'll look exactly the same. Yeah,
there you go.
I don't think you're going to make his coin, but that's a different story.
No. All right, now we got. I think this is another 3rd and 8, Greg, and we see Zadarius Smith. And I guess with Vic not sending as much extra man pressure, he was using more athleticism games, things like that up front.
Oh, no, they did a good amount of stunning in this game. And maybe that's because he didn't add another body to the pressure, and they did a really nice job with it. This is a really good job. This is the sack by Smith.
Yeah.
They did a TE stunt, as I recall, on both sides here.
Yeah.
And
right.
And because
Smith the looper.
See, you know what the key to this is?
The linebacker, Campbell?
I don't know. Campbell.
Yeah.
Jahad Campbell steps up to grab the eyes of the center, so the center can't be involved on the other side, and now he just stays to that side, so there's no one to really play Smith when he loops around, because the right guard goes inside with that's probably JalenCarter.
Right there.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah.
So that takes the center, right?
And then the center just stays to that side. And because the guard Miners is not going to take his eyes off Carter, he just is not in position to deal with Smith.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. And this is
you'll see it really clearly here. Campbell does a really good job. It's all he needs to do. Right. He just needs to grab the eyes of the center.
Because Vic does this a lot. He walks that linebacker up late and acts as if that guy's a late comer, but he's not. He dropped it. And that just helped take the center out.
Exactly. Watch is it Wattenberg? Who's the center? Or is it that Palkowitz guy?
I forget the guy's name.
Yeah. 60. Anyway, watch 60 look to the left, and he's beat. I mean,
that's what happens.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep, Palkowitz, I think it is.
As soon as he looks, then there's no one.
He gives up the middle. This is great.
You get the clean loop through the A gap.
The desired reaction.
That was actually more of a schemed up. Zadarius Smith's athleticism shown through there, but all he had to do was run through an alley and sack the quarterback.
Yeah, but you still have to show some short area burst and a little bit of bend and then closing speed. I mean, it's not every guy can do that.
But Jeff, right when Wattenberg, the center, looks then they've got him. Like that's a great point you guys made about Campbell. That was really good stuff. By the way, real quick before we go on, how do you think Campbell's been doing so far? We keep being asked about him.
This was the first game where I thought that Bond and Campbell did not stand out. Again, that doesn't mean they're not good players, okay? Right. But it's just and by the way, no one's great for 17 games. It's just too hard. I mean, look what happened last night in Buffalo. I mean, it's just these things happen. There's 17 games. No one's great for 17 games.
Yeah.
It's just, this is the NFL. People need to understand that. It's just you hope when no one's great or your good players aren't necessarily great that you can still win the games. That's what you hope for. But no one's great for 17 games.
Wouldn't you? Because I know what you told us, and when you watch a preseason tape for us, you were pleasantly surprised. Would you say he's certainly? I would say he's had a schedule based on what I heard about him. Yeah, Campbell.
Campbell. Well, yeah. I still noticed his phenomenal athletic movement. I think I said to one of my guys after I'd watched like 4 plays, I said, "Man, Campbell, I just love the way he moves." I mean, but sometimes you just don't make dominant plays or great plays, every game. It just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So this is what we referenced before, Greg, the 3rd and 15 throw where Mitchell really isn't in a great position, as you highlighted.
So the coverage here is what we call cover 6, which means it's cover 4 to the short side of the field and cover 2 to the wide side of the field. So they're going to work to the short side of the field here. And it's an empty set. And you're going to see that Mitchell's retreating. And by the way, look at when Nix throws this ball. Mm-hmm. Sutton hasn't even really turned yet, and he throws it with great timing, great anticipation, precise ball location. See,
he throws it before Mitchell even slips, so he couldn't have anticipated a little slip there.
Yeah, and then Mitchell becomes out of position because of that, and he can't really react. And then worst case, Blankenship's got to make that tackle right there. It's still a first down, but it's not 34 yards.
Yeah, I don't think Blankenship has tackled really well this year for whatever reason. And again, we talked about not having CJ next to you. I don't know what that means for him and how he plays, but I think
this was a big time throw. This was in this situation. You've got to turn it loose. I mean, you can't sit back there and wait, and you can't throw the check down. I mean, This is when you got to turn. You got to turn it loose. You got to trust it. You got to, you got to trust everything. You got to trust what you're seeing. You got to trust your receiver. This has to be an anticipation throw. First of all, he doesn't know Mitchell's going to slip. So if you wait, then Mitchell, drives on the route and it's incomplete.
Yep. And I believe that set up this very next play to Evan Ingram here.
Yeah, I looked at this play a lot, and I've seen this kind of thing a lot, and I've always tried to figure out where the tight end in this route, in this concept, fits.
Mm-hmm.
And my sense is it's the 3rd read. That's my sense. I could be wrong because I think with the boot action, if the back, and I think it's Beatty here or
26. You might be right about that. Batty, yeah, or Bidet.
I think a Batty, yeah. I think if he's wide open,
another Beatty, yeah, he's the 3rd down back.
I think if he's wide open, he's throwing it to him, and then I think he's looking for Franklin crossing. But because of Franklin has to. Do a little jig there to get by the rusher. And then I think he comes. This is my sense of it. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I think it's the 3rd read.
Yeah. Carter almost had him too. Twice.
That's a heck of a throw.
Yeah. And it's a well-designed play to have your 3rd read be there for that. But yeah.
Well, I've seen the Rams do that for years and years and years where it's actually the 4th read. And, because you could tell Nick's is not looking inside. He's looking outside.
It's to the right. Yeah.
Yep. And then he comes back in.
Now he knows he's going to be there, but he's not looking to him first.
Right. And then this last one would be, I think this is to Sutton on the final drive that gets him into the Eagles territory where he gets 16 yards.
Yeah, this was just the fade. This was just Nix and Sutton beating really good coverage by Mitchell. I mean, sometimes you just got to tip your hat and say that's a good play.
Yeah.
Hey, fall is planting season. Did you know that many plants and trees actually do better when planted this time of the year? But you got to know where to start, and that's why I love fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter if you live in the sunny south or if the air's getting a little chilly where you are, the plant experts can help you find the perfect fit
for your space. They've got everything your yard needs: fruit trees, privacy trees, shrubs, flowering trees, so much more. And Fast Growing Trees makes it so easy for you to have your dream yard because you can order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door. If you're like me, you're tired of spending way too much money on landscaping. And if you walk into one of those nurseries and you look at all the stuff they have, you have no idea where to begin. That's why you need FastGrowingTrees.com. Doesn't matter about the size of your yard. They got over 6,000 plants to fit any space, and a 14-point quality checklist ensures you will get the best quality plants possible. This fall, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code BIRDS at checkout. 15% off at FastGrowingTrees.com using the code BIRDS at checkout. Now's the perfect time to plant. Use BIRDS to save today. The offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Check out the link below or in the show notes and support the show. Hey, Philly fans, game day is stressful enough. Parking, traffic, long lines. We've all been there. But when it comes to your cannabis, Camden Apothecary makes it easy. This is the dispensary for sports fans, just minutes outside of Philly with plenty of free parking. You'll be in and out fast, no hassle, no waiting, and they don't just care about convenience. Camden Apothecary is all about the guest experience. Their staff makes sure you feel taken care of every time you walk in. Plus, they carry only the best quality cannabis at the fairest prices. So whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the watch party, or celebrating a big win, you know you're getting the good stuff without overpaying. They even show love to the community with specials for fans, students, service members, and healthcare pros. Camden Apothecary, top quality cannabis, great prices, and an experience made for Philly fans 21 and up. Do you think Mitchell was a little bit out of position on that? Because it seemed like
I think off the snap, he just got a little too caught up inside.
Yeah.
And then he was a little bit in recovery mode, but he kind of recovered. I mean, he got there. I mean, he did get his arm in. I mean, it was close.
Yeah.
Right. Yep, that's true. That was it. I wound up being a big play. I actually thought they were going to wind up scoring a touchdown.
I thought the first play of that drive was interesting. I didn't write it in my notes. I thought Bond actually got caught inside on that first play. It was an 11-yarder, which kind of, I mean, that's the play where you, as a defense, you want to stop him and make it, second and long right away. And then you convert on you get 11 yards on that play, and offensively you're feeling pretty good now that, hey, now we have a drive going.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is a look at the Eagles defense. I thought more positive than negative, but they were on the field quite a bit there. And then obviously, as we just showed, Nick's made some really nice throws there in the fourth quarter that were very meaningful throws. Short turnaround for the Eagles as Thursday night they have got the New York Giants up in the Meadowlands. That's going to do it for Inside the Tape with Greg Cosell. For Greg Cosell and Adam Kaplan, I'm Jeff Mosher. Again, you've been watching Inside the Tape with Greg Cosell on Inside the Birds.